Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be a prediction video coming to you guys. Now a lot of you guys did suggest that I should do this video, so I am going to go ahead and bring it to you guys today. So first of all, I must say before we do get into anything, apologies if I do sound a little bit different in this video. I've got a little bit of a cold at the moment, so apologies if my voice does sound a little bit odd than it does normally, guys. But like I said, we are going into this championship semi-final first leg predictions today, and I'm very excited to get into this because we have some crackers of a tie coming up in the championship. The games are taking place tomorrow and on Sunday as well, so we're going to be going ahead and predicting the scorelines to them today. But like I said, I'm very interested to know what you guys have to say. So guys, if you do successfully manage to predict any of the scorelines at this weekend for the championship playoff semi-final first leg, I will include your comment at the start of the next video. So throughout the course of these playoffs, I'll be doing a couple of videos. I'll be doing a video today for my first leg predictions, and then on the Monday I'll do my roundup of those fixtures and my predictions for the second leg incorporated into that video as well, so you guys know what to expect. So this video will probably be quite shorter than all my other ones, as we do literally only have 2 games to go ahead and predict. So without further ado, let's get into the first game. So guys, our first game to talk over is the game taking place tomorrow between Fulham and Reading. Now this first leg is taking place at Craven Cottage between the team that finished 6th in the championship coming up against the team who finished 3rd. Now really, I suppose it is a bit of an advantage for Reading in my opinion, having the second leg at home. I'd say that that's always the advantage really, and Reading, you know, will want to take full advantage of that. But do I think they can do that? I mean, this is a very interesting encounter. 2 sides coming up against each other who aren't really too far against each other. It's quite interesting really that we are going to basically have a North versus South final in the playoffs. But in terms of the previous records of these 2 sides this season in the championship, the first game these 2 sides went up against each other, Fulham managed to win by 5-0. That was the game which took place at Craven Cottage, and in that game really we saw a lot of what these 2 sides did for the majority of the season. We saw Fulham being absolutely ruthless at home, and equally to that we saw Reading being quite suspect at the back as well. Reading's away record this season, they've not really hit the heights away from home compared to what they've been able to do at home this season, and coming up against a side like Fulham who has just been electric at homes at times this season, this could be an interesting one for Reading. I'd be interested to know, Reading fans down below, would you take a draw right now for this first leg? I'd be very interested to know about that. But in terms of the other game which took place this season between these 2 sides, Reading managed to win that game by 1-0. That was actually a rearranged fixture after the first game was called off due to fog. I think that was back in December. But in terms of how I think the game will actually take place tomorrow, guys, it's a really hard one to predict because honestly, does form go out the window in the championship playoffs? I think it might do. You know, with all these things to take into consideration, I'm going to go with a 3-1 home victory for Fulham. I think they will take full advantage of being at home in the first leg, and with Reading just being so suspect away from home defensively this season, I think that could come to pay them in this game here today. And if it was 3-1, do you think that's too big of a deficit for Reading to claw back in the second leg? I'm not so sure, but I do fancy Reading to get a goal in this one, but defensively, I just don't think they'll be able to stand up to what Fulham can offer them. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 home victory for Fulham, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 Fulham. And into our next game, guys, we have the next playoff semi-final taking place between the teams who finished in 4th and 5th, which were, of course, Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday. So the first game is taking place at Huddersfield, and this is a very interesting encounter. Once again, we have a derby going on in the playoffs, and the atmosphere in both of these games, I'm sure, will be absolutely electric. I think tickets have sold out for both these games already, and boy, I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen in them. I mean, Huddersfield have really ended the season in a funny pattern really, compared to Sheffield Wednesday, who I'd argue have finished the season stronger than Huddersfield. Huddersfield have been quite inconsistent recently, you know. We saw them end the season with that 3-0 defeat they had to Cardiff, which was really bizarre, considering they put a full-strength team for that game as well. I don't really know what mindset Huddersfield are going to be going into this game with, and if we look at the previous meetings between these two sides this season in the Championship, we actually saw Sheffield Wednesday win on both occasions. The game taking place at Huddersfield, Sheffield Wednesday managed to get a 1-0 victory, and in the game at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday got a 2-0 victory in that one. So with them doing the double over Huddersfield this season, does that give them a little bit of a psychological advantage? Possibly, but in terms of how I think this game will actually go, it's an interesting one as well, because Huddersfield's main goalkeeper this season, Danny Ward, is actually suspended for this game, as is Matthias for Sheffield Wednesday. So both these two sides are carrying a suspension into this game. So let me know down below how you think that will affect these two going into this one. But in terms of how I think this game will actually shape up, I've got the feeling that this one could be a draw, and a draw will probably suit the away team more, because of course getting a draw, then they'll be able to take them back to their place at home, and then, you know, hopefully for them, put the sword in. But in terms of this game, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few goals were scored in this game, you know, with some of the attacking quality that Sheffield Wednesday have got going forward, as well as, you know, the attacking quality Huddersfield have got going forward. I think there are goals to be scored in this game. Defensively, with Huddersfield having their main goalkeeper out, I'm not sure how they'll be able to deal with that. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw for this game. I think it will be highly competitive, and some big challenges could be flying in, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be a 1-1 draw. So guys, that will wrap it up for this video. I said that it would be a short one, but we literally only have 2 games to predict this weekend, but they are massive games going on in the playoffs. Also, let me know down below, guys, who do you think is going to go all the way and win the playoffs? I'd be very interested to know. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do check out all the other links in the description down below. Make sure you get your score predictions in the comments down below for a chance to be featured in the next video. But apart from that, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like if you have enjoyed. Also as well, subscribe around here for regular Championship content. And I'll see you all in the next one.